we can go back to the tape and see it one more time, and I'll look at it with you. Again, this occurred just in the last several moments around the Trade Center building. Building number 7, 47 stories. Maureen Madden, CNN producer, is in the area. Maureen, what can you tell us? What did you see?
Well, about 2 minutes ago, we happened to see 7 World Trade Center go down, which holds the Office of Emergency Management for the City of New York on the 23rd floor there. When we heard from the fire department of NYPD, is that the whole south part of the building was engulfed in flames at one point, and it was a matter of time to collapse. They're just waiting for it to collapse, which we've been waiting for about a half hour. When it went down, it was quick, it was quiet, and we saw a lot of smoke come up.
I want to tell you that we are getting word from New York right now that another building has collapsed. I understand that this is a 47-story building. Do we have pictures of it? I guess that's smoke now. Correct me if I'm wrong in the control room, please. But is that smoke coming from this third collapse? Okay, that is what we're understanding, which makes sense because it looks like the sun is going down. But
Bill Blake, were you there? And I gather you saw number 7 come down.
Yes, I did, Peter. I'm standing right on the West Side Highway. The skyline of the financial district has changed again. Just a few minutes ago, I was talking to some people. I was facing north. I saw shock in their face, heard screams, spun around, and then we just watched the building fall in on itself. I believe we have a little bit of tape here. Because the civilians who were standing around here were all amazed, but things have become so bizarre down here that the hundreds of firemen who were standing around looked at it, felt a bit shocked, but then just said, well, we're going to have even more work to do. Associate producer Lucy Kerrigan had been over near that building just a little bit earlier, and the policeman had told her that they feared the building was going to come down, that they were evacuating people from around it.
So but there are a number of emergency vehicles that are now coming out of the vicinity of number 7 World Trade Center that has just gone down. And I just wanted to let you know very quickly, before that, number 6 World Trade Center went down, and housed in those buildings had all been cleared out after the first plane hit the World Trade Center this morning. So there was some speculation that there's not a soul in those buildings at the time. Certainly number 7 that just went down as we were live on the air earlier on with MSNBC was cleared out. Most people, they said earlier that they were just waiting for that building to go down, so they were expecting this to happen.
Today, the collapse of 7 World Trade Center, the building they were so worried about injuring rescue workers, has freed up rescue workers to now go into the area, and they are moving in groups of 20 and 50 as their teams are designated.
So the principal danger to the rescue and recovery teams has been eliminated.
The biggest danger has literally removed itself.
Right. Actually, building 7, a 47-story building, just collapsed earlier today, but they were able to get people out of that building, of course, because they were worried about the structure and integrity of the building, and they were right, it did collapse. So that.
And now let's go back to New York and look at some pictures just in showing the Trade Center collapsing. Pictures keep coming in, despite it being, almost 10 hours now since the original attack. This is because various footage, many of it from amateurs, is being released to the television stations. And in fact, that is not the World Trade Center. I got some wrong information there. It is the Salomon Brothers building. So that is this evening in New York. It collapsed some 6 hours after the World Trade Center, presumably weakened by the collapse of the World Trade Center just a few blocks away from it. We heard from our correspondent earlier that much of Manhattan is quiet, not many people around. So all being well, the casualty toll in that building should not be very high. But of course there were presumably security and other officials around the building when it did collapse.
About an hour ago, World Trade Center building number 7 collapsed. A 42-story building, weakened by the devastation that had occurred earlier today. No word of any casualties in the building. It was the one calamity that was not a surprise. Police had evacuated the area hours ago. Fearful building number 7 would indeed fall down.
But in New York late this afternoon, a third damaged building, the 40-story World Trade Center number 7, also crashes to the ground.
For hours, and smoke bellowed through side streets and along the great avenues. Yet another major building in the trade complex fell.
And we will speak with one voice to condemn these attacks, to comfort the victims.
Through the day, an inferno raged in World Trade Center Building Number 7, another massive office tower. Firefighters feared that it would collapse. And a little more than 8 hours after the attack, the abandoned building fell.
A third building at the World Trade Center, damaged by this morning's attacks, collapsed.
They advised us to leave because we have...
Oh my God. Look behind us. Please pan in this way, please. Be careful of your baby. This is it.
That's the building coming down.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. No.
Fortunately, the building with more than 40 floors had been evacuated. But once again, the concrete canyons of Lower Manhattan are filled.
We talked to those firefighters at the base of World Trade Center Building Number 7. We left them there 1 hour before that building collapsed.
We heard earlier in a report from Dawn Fratangelo about a woman who was coming out of the building.
Their heads in their hands, wondering, you know, about their colleagues. So it's hard to be affected. What was great is that we could be of some assistance. I mean, how happy some of these firefighters were.
And we are looking again at these live pictures from ground zero, basically, and I wonder if we can possibly find the scale of this tremendous debris that's been left behind. There you go. And just the massive undertaking that this will be.
Right, massive in the sense that St. Vincent's is saying that they received more than 400 patients at not only their hospital but their associated hospitals. 5 people out of that has passed away. 5 people have passed away, but what they clearly are doing is bracing for
so much the outside office areas of the side that I was on. And then we made our way to the stairwell and in a very orderly fashion made our way down 81 flights.
Was there a check? I mean, was it, you know, Fred, are you here? Bill, are you here? Mary, are you here?
Yes, but it was almost useless to really account for everybody.
Lieutenant John Wolf, Manhattan South Task Force commander there. And he went over to a civil engineer and said, when number 7 World Trade Center goes, are we going to be safe here? We were 6 or 7 blocks away. And the civil engineer looked and said, I think so.
Keep your eye on that building. It'll be coming down.
Impossible to give you an exact timeline, that's for sure. It's still a crime scene, so it has to be treated as such. But like I said...
Stand back. Stay as close as you can where you're not in the way.
But for hours, they stood cut off from the rubble, feeling both fierce and helpless because they were not allowed into the rescue area. In the midst of a frustrating afternoon, evidence of why they had not been sent in. Number 7 World Trade Center collapsed.
You guys have been doing this all day. Let's just wait a couple minutes. It's not going to make... 7 was empty.
Okay. Where the scene was here 24 hours ago, but still, as you can see from these pictures, not only there is still a lot of smoke, but also a few pockets of fires, and this, of course, making the work of the rescue.
I was on the 28th floor of number 7 World Trade, working in the southeastern corner.
Okay, now for...
Well, looking back at it now, it was just a blur in my memory. Eventually someone did say, let's evacuate and let's get downstairs. And initially, once that clicked in my head, I knew to, you know, run to the stairs and run downstairs as quickly as possible.
How long did it take you to get out of your building?
About 2 minutes. I must have ran down the stairs as fast as possible.
Yeah, we need to explain, that building was only how many stories?
48, I think, in total, maybe 47. Well, initially, when I got down to the ground floor, the second plane had hit the Southern World Trade Center. And again, people started to panic, people started to cry, people started to get away from the front lobby windows. After that, security guards then pushed people down the escalator, around the back entrance, and up towards Greenwich Street, getting people as north as possible away from the incident.
The World Trade Center Building 7, or 7 World Trade Center, as you can see behind me in the distance, is still on fire, smoldering.
Besides the 2 World Trade Center towers, at least 4 other buildings have fallen, and portions of at least 8 others may go next.
There was nothing you could do. There was not a thing you can do for them.